because I think sometimes we're so afraid to fight because it's going to get nasty and ugly, and you start saying hurtful things and you feel hurt, so then you hurt back, and then they feel, and it can just so easily disintegrate. I really wish I would have been more intentional with that in two ways. First, to prioritize marriage, but then also how quick parenting goes. One of the most difficult things that I learned the hard way was not being true to how and who God made me to be.
Welcome to the Collective Talk Podcast, Season 5, where we share reflections on prayer, family, and ministry. On today's episode, we'll be talking all about marriage, ministry, and motherhood. And we have two special guests on the show today. We have my sister, Tracy Wilde-Pace, who will be co-hosting with me today. And we have Chelsea Smith, who happens to be our cousin. Her husband is our cousin. And so I'm so excited for her to come on the show. She just recently wrote a book. She's an incredible communicator and author and speaker. Can you help me welcome Chelsea Smith to the show? Well, welcome, Chelsea, to the show. I am so glad that you are here. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time. And I just don't know. Do people know that you are our cousin? I don't know if they know.
Well, they know now.
They know. Cousin by marriage. I wish I was your cousin by blood.
Yes.
Like growing up, I actually wanted to be your guys' cousin so bad.
Yes.
But I feel like we look alike in a weird. I feel like people think we are. It is by blood.
By us.
So we just claim it.
Yeah.
For good, Judah.
I'll claim it too.
How did you and Judah meet? I'd love to hear that story. I mean,
we know
it, but I don't think.
Let's let our
people
viewers.
know
Let's
it.
let our viewer. Okay, so the big picture story is that our moms were friends when they were pregnant with us. Literally, we have two older sisters. They were pregnant with us, their second kids, and they would joke, and this is in the 70s before you could have ultrasounds. Yeah. They would joke, let's have a boy and a girl and get them married. So I'm born first. I'm a girl. Judah came out.
Yeah.
He came out. He's a boy.
Yeah.
And we're like, perfect. Let's get married. So I don't even know when we met for the first time. It was probably in the church nursery. Yeah. But do you know what I was thinking about? We started liking each other when we were like 10 and 12, and then his family moved away. But do you guys remember right before Judah and I got together, we were at that conference at Harvest Rock Church at Cheyon's. Do you remember this?
Yes, in Pasadena.
And
Wasn't it Joel generation?
You guys didn't like each other
No,
yet?
we hadn't liked each other yet. This was like a couple months before.
Way.
And Judah wasn't there. We just ended up attending the conference at the same time together and hanging out. And I think that's when you guys started liking me.
We always
liked me. But I think that's, Judah says that you came home from that and he was like,
and we were singing your praises.
Yeah, they're like, Tracy and Chelsea was cool. So I felt like winning you guys over was a big part of being able to marry Judah.
So we're the reason you and Judah are just kidding. That is awesome, actually.
So cool.
I was when you were driving down here, I was thinking about that. And for some reason, you guys had a van, and I kept getting rides with you in.
My God.
Yeah, because we brought
I think you did
we did youth ministry, and I think we came in the van.
I think we rode like 16 hours or something, to drive to that.
In fact, I have like crazy, like traumatic stories from that van.
Yeah, actually, that triggered me. That
youth
trip.
ministry and 15 passenger vans. That was like part of the requirement for being a youth pastor back then. Was you had to drive a 15 passenger van.
I think one time when we went there, I think it was whatever that conference was called, and then the van caught on fire underneath, like electrical stuff.
Yeah.
And then our youth pastor at the time, we're like telling him, "Hey, I think the car
we're like, it's
is on
smoky.
fire.
It smells." He's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine."
We probably curled your hair wrong
in the van.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, moving on to, I'd love to hear. So you just recently wrote a book, which I am so excited about. And I'd love to hear more about that. And then, but before we dive into that, what have you learned? And it's all about marriage, all of that. But I just want to ask you this question. Okay. What have you learned about marriage and motherhood that you really wish you'd known earlier?
Oh, I would say it's wild. The season that we're in right now, Judah and I have hair in my pants, gross. Judah and I have been married for 26 years, which is wild.
Wow.
Our kids are 21, 19, and Grace is about to be 17 in a couple weeks. So we are on like the cusp of empty nest season. Yeah. And it is absolutely wild how quickly it's gone. I feel like I blinked and we're now working on getting the kids out of the house. Yeah. And it feels like it's been a second. Yeah. Well, that's another podcast. And what I wish I would have known earlier is how quick parenting actually goes and to make sure and remember that parenting is for for a season. I know you're always a mom and you get that, but it's not a full-time job forever. But marriage really is for our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I've been through this season and seen so many other people go through the season of prioritizing your kids over your marriage. Because let's be honest, I mean, think about your buddies, like they can't live without you, your children when they're young. Like they literally depend on you for life. And your spouse can survive on his own, but it feels like that moment of, okay, my kid's going to die without me. My spouse is going to be fine. So I need to prioritize my kids.
Yeah.
But I actually think that is so wrong. And I can say that looking at this season where Judah and I have had so many evenings where it's just the two of us at home. And what are we going to do? And do we like each other? Do we enjoy each other? Do we have things to talk about and do together when our life isn't centered around our kids? So I really wish I would have been more intentional with that in two ways. First, to prioritize marriage, but then also how quick parenting goes. A friend of ours just had a baby, and I'm now that like menopausal middle-aged woman. Jesus help me.
Perimenopause is what it's called.
Is that apparently
it's perimenopause.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tracy. Appreciate it.
I've never heard it. It's a new thing. Apparently, we're in it.
Aren't we hearing it?
Yes.
It's just I've never been a teary person, and I've turned into a teary.
Me too.
Sweet I just said my reflex. Sweet Jesus.
That's a symptom of perimenopause. Just kidding. I don't know.
I hate being teary. But a friend of mine just had a baby, and I looked at them and I was like, "Can you please just hold them and cherish it? Nothing is more important in this season right now. It goes by so fast." And not just baby, but every season of parenting really is just
so true.
Well, I have to say, you have always been you've modeled what you said. Because I watched you. I mean, I was very intimately involved in
lived together
years. We lived together for a little while.
Great season.
And you always, I feel like you, even then, even though you might say you needed to focus on them, I feel like you always were really modeling. You really prioritized your marriage and relationship with Judah, but you also were such a good mom balancing. I look back at that season, Chelsea, and I think, obviously the grace of God, right? But you are very wise. You're a wise woman. You always have been. But I look at your kids. You have the sweetest, most respectful, just kind children. I so enjoy to be around your kids. I did then as they were younger and even more now. So that's such a reflection on you and Judah. And as a mom, I can't even imagine. I mean, you guys were flying back and forth and taking the kids, and their world was like a crazy, in those. I have a 4-year-old, and I'm like, he's good at traveling, but he wants his routine. He wants to be home with Xbox, You did a great job, and it reflects in your children.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for saying that. Well, they love their Aunt TT also.
I'm obsessed with them.
Also, it is cool to have adult kids and realize I like them.
Yes.
You always love them, but most of the time, I enjoy talking with them, which is so.
Well, you're such a good mom.
Yeah.
I mean, Gracie and my Kenzie have become such close friends. And
so
Ken's is like, I love Gracie. So you, honestly, what Tracy said, I concur. You're such an incredible mom and a wife. And so we admire that so much
Thanks,
about
guys.
you.
Can I come back next
Yes.
Tell me this all over again.
I wanted to ask you this question. So what's been the biggest thing or biggest way that you've changed as a wife over the years? What is something that you've changed the most?
Okay, these questions are making me feel so old, by the way.
Sorry.
You said 26 years.
I know, 26 years, right? I was doing one podcast, and after we were done, the podcaster, it was a man. He was interviewing me. He was probably in his 50s. He said, "You have such a youthful spirit." And he was like,
you're like, was that a compliment?
I don't know if that's a compliment or if that came whatever. But it is wild to realize I've lived some years and gone through some experiences, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully gotten better. Some things you learn the right way, some things you learn the hard way. I think one of the most difficult things that I learned the hard way was not being true to how and who God made me to be, and not loving myself. I know as a pastor's wife, there's so many expectations, and I Tracy, look at you especially, and like you're so outgoing, you're so social, you're so easy and wonderful to be with, and I think sometimes I felt short in that I'm not outgoing enough, or I'm not out doing enough. And Judah, my husband, is like he lights up a room. He's the best personality. He makes everybody feel so wonderful and comfortable. And I remember thinking, this is who I have to be to fulfill my role and to do it well. And back in the days when we would do Bible studies, I would literally give myself 5 minutes in the bathroom stall. This is embarrassing to admit.
Yeah.
And I could play solitaire on my phone for 5 minutes just to like go in and
Yes.
like get a breath for a second and then get the
Yeah.
courage to go back out and
Yes.
do it again. And I think through that process, I did some bad things to my body and just like thyroid
Yes.
and all those
Yeah.
kind of things that I think are a sign of chronic stress. But when I look back, and actually God has healed me from that in an amazing
That's so
journey, which is
amazing.
so
Yeah.
cool. But I look back and I realize I wasn't worshiping God through loving and honoring the way he made me to be.
Wow.
Like if God wanted me to be like Tracy, he would have made me like Tracy. If
Right.
God wanted me to be like Judah, he would have made me
Yes.
like Judah. But he made me this really introverted, loves people, but
Yeah.
but I really need my alone time person.
Yeah.
And that's how God wired me to be. And I didn't worship and honor him through honoring that and my own body and my own signals. And I can now say, oh, I like who I am.
That's
I like
so good.
myself. I like all
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
And I wish I could go back to my 25-year-old self and be like, this is who you are.
Yes.
This is who God made you to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Just
And
be her.
Just be
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And just settle in and like her. So
Yeah.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
good.
The body connection. It's like we're a whole person and it's a spirit body, or it's all one.
yeah.
So when we're operating, when we're not operating maybe in exactly who God made us, it affects us physically
Yeah.
or emotionally or
And I thought that we heard so much about this, and I agree that the life of faith is an uncomfortable life.
Mm.
And I do think there is part where I mistranslated that, or
Sure.
I misappropriated that, where the life of faith is stepping out,
Yes.
is trusting God. But
Yes.
I think there is a journey where we can do that and still do that in the way that God made us to be. And
Yeah,
I really
that's
thought I
good.
was doing the right thing by making myself uncomfortable,
Yeah.
by
Mm.
going and being in the lobby for an hour and talking to people and
Yes.
needing to give myself
Yeah.
that
and
time.
then you'd have to sleep for 3 days.
Yes, because it just took so much out of me. So yeah, I would say that's what I've learned. I don't know. You've been doing this. What have
really
you guys
good.
learned?
I mean, that is so really so good. I feel
Yeah.
like this is too like a churchy saying, but God only anoints the real,
the real
you.
you.
You know,
I love it.
hey. But it's true.
There are 3 church girls
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
But it's so true. I mean, and I think that you're
Yeah.
what God's called you to do, only you can do. And Chelsea, like I've just admired you. You're brilliant,
Yeah.
and your communication is so brilliant, and how you explain hard things and make them easy. I think that you've always done that, and so I admire that. I know Tracy, we both admire you, and so I'm just thankful that you're just stepping into your calling and doing all that
Yeah.
God's called you to do.
Shell, I know we're exchanging compliments, but
Yeah.
you've always been so good at being authentically who you are.
That's true.
Like
Mhm.
without a doubt, you've always, I think, just had this grace from God to just be exactly who you are and unapologetic and strong and bold
and pretty. Like she was
Yes.
wearing full makeup in
Oh,
high school
gosh.
playing
Oh.
basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
she's
yes.
just
With
who
her-
she
with your
is.
socks.
Yeah,
Oh
yes.
my gosh, with that basketball camp
Yeah.
that we all went to when we were in high school. I was
Yes.
like,
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
That's so true though. Like she's just like so confident in who she is.
yeah.
It was so
Good
fun.
job, Shell.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I loved. Yeah. Who wears makeup playing basketball?
You did full makeup.
Full glam.
Yeah, she was
I-
full glam.
why not? Grace and I, or my daughter, watch
Yeah, yeah.
tennis all the time. Like, why don't
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
just put some
Like get
lashes
some
on.
eyelashes. Like that would just pop your eyes, you know? Just do
Hey.
something.
Yeah.
Pop your eyes.
We're the worst.
Well, I love this.
But we
Well,
love you, women's
yes.
sports. You're
Yes.
doing great.
Yes. I wanted to ask you this question too: is what's been the biggest way you've changed as a mom? I know I asked you the first question. What's been the biggest way you've changed as a wife? But what has been the biggest thing you think over time you've changed at being a mom?
Oh man, again, another old woman question. I'm just kidding. I think, this has been the hardest. It's what I'm working towards. I have definitely not made it to this thing that I'm aspiring to change, but that is letting go of perfectionism.
Yes.
Letting go of the expectation that to be a good mom is
Yeah.
to do everything right, to do everything perfect, is to have my house perfect, is for my kids to not, be on their own journey, and letting go of that perfectionism.
Letting go, yeah.
And I think hand in hand is making sure that as a mom, I'm not motivated by fear.
It's good.
It is amazing to me how we can live
Yeah.
these like incredible walks of faith and do great things for God in like church or in business and step out and take risks and trust God.
Yeah.
But when it comes to trusting God with our
Our kids.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
it is like to me, it's a constant battle of trying
Yeah.
to take control back.
Yeah.
Like for their safety, I have to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure everything
From the
is good.
moment they're born.
Totally.
It is,
Yeah.
It's
And-
crazy.
and it is like this, like fierce, I think in a good way, this
Yeah.
mama bear instinct
Yeah.
that I think is God given. But then there's also a continually,
Yes.
God, I'm giving him back to you.
Yeah,
I'm
surrendering.
I'm
Yeah,
trusting
wow.
you.
Yes.
One of the things that we've said over and over is these are actually, Zion is your son, Elliot is your son,
Yeah.
Grace is your daughter. Because I think we feel as moms that it's all on us, but to
Mhm.
recognize that God is first and foremost father, and he's not just my father, but he's their father. And as much as I love them, he loves them so much more.
Yeah,
and as
I
much as
love
I want to
that.
protect
Yeah.
them, he wants to protect them so much more. But man, for me, that is a fight and one of the biggest exercises of faith in
That's
my
really
life and
good.
letting go of control and
Yeah.
fear and perfectionism. And to me, those are all
Interconnected.
kind of bound up together. I
Yeah.
mean, you have a teenage daughter.
I know. It's like hard. I mean, and then, as they get older too, the more you have to I'm like, okay, I got to let go of control. And, Kenzie, now they're like driving. Well,
Yeah, I
Kenzie's
know, it's
not
Kenzie
quite
driving.
driving yet, you guys.
I keep asking
You
Grace,
just
I'm like,
did
can
out
you,
her.
Can you guys meet halfway yet? She's like, nope.
Yeah,
Kenzie's not driving
I'm
yet.
like, oh my gosh, she has a car, you guys. But anyway, we can cut that.
Maybe
from there.
edit that part
edit
out.
that part out. But I know it's like the older that they get too. I feel as a mom and as women, I feel like it's that, and I've struggled with that all my life is perfectionism, and it is that control as a mom. You want them to be okay. You're worrying about them, and I think that the older that I'm getting, I'm like, I have to trust God more. I mean, Kenzie is such a good girl.
Yeah.
She loves God. She's,
She's such a good friend too, and
I
she's very thoughtful. The
know.
thoughtfulness she shows to Grace
Yes.
is really just unique and special for a teenage girl.
She
to
like
do that.
adores Grace. So she's
gosh.
like, I'm so glad that they have each other.
Me too.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you this other question. Okay. What's a moment in your family life that recently reminded you this is what really matters?
Oh, man, this is going to be
Yeah.
dramatic. The first thing that came to mind was we were on a family trip a year and a half ago, and Zion, our oldest son, we landed, got there, and Zai ended up having a seizure. And
Oh.
he'd never had that before, and it wasn't. It was I can still hardly talk about it.
Mm.
It was just the most terrifying 3 minutes, and it was long and back to back, and we're out. We're out of our normal sphere and out of our comfort zones, and in that moment of your brain can just
Yeah.
go
everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere, and just thinking that God, he's in your hands.
Yeah.
And really, this is what is important. I could get everything else in life right, but it is this man, it is these babies that are the really what is meaningful of life.
Yeah.
And they talk about life flashing before your eyes. It was too slow, and I tend to slow down in crisis moments. So unfortunately, it wasn't a flash. It felt like
You felt
A
ever.
lifetime.
Yes.
ever
Wow.
lifetime. And but yeah, just how important those relationships are, and whether it's maybe people are listening, they don't have a husband or don't have kids, and if you're like, well, then what's the purpose of life? I think it's not about family as much as it is relationship.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
so good.
value of relationships, and are we investing into them? And
That's really good.
that's what matters.
And you guys do that so well. So
Yeah.
Judah's good at it. I'm not. It doesn't come naturally to me.
You are good though. You will sit with one person and have a very meaningful conversation and make them feel like the most important person in the
Yes.
room.
Yeah.
You do that
Thank
really
you.
well.
Yep.
You do. You always have. I always tried to be like that because I was just
Stop.
like darting through the room, trying to talk to everyone. I feel like this responsibility, but you do that. So you make people feel so valued
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
in those spaces.
So
So
good. I wanted to ask you this question: is what's something about balancing ministry, marriage, and motherhood that people don't see that
Oh,
you've had
man.
to?
I think seasons,
Mhm.
realizing that it comes in seasons. There are
Yeah.
seasons when your marriage just needs your priority. There are seasons when your kids need it. And there are seasons when your job, whether it's ministry or whatever, business or whatever your job and responsibility is. And
that's so
people
good.
try to say balance. And
Yeah.
I just
don't
feel
really
like
like that
It's
word.
impossible.
It's
Yeah.
impossible. I just can't give
Yeah.
everything my
Mhm.
full heart and attention
That's
on
good.
any given day or any given week. And so I think being attuned to those seasons
That's
and
really good.
being okay to know, okay, this is on the front burner right now. These things are on the back burner. They're going to be okay. And being discerning as to what really needs your priority for what season. And that can be what kid needs your priority or what project, even within ministry, needs your priority. Because I don't know, do you ever feel like this as women? It feels like there are 100 flames to tend to all the time. And I was listening recently on a thyroid podcast actually about how much more thyroid issues are happening in women because we are burning out our adrenal systems. And because we're just trying to keep everything going all the time. And I just think that's unrealistic.
It is.
And I don't think, God says that we're planted in the house of the Lord that we may flourish. And I don't think that's a flourishing life. And in a lot of ways, I think I'm so grateful for the women who pioneered women in ministry. And I think a lot of that for us was the generation before us.
Yeah.
But in other ways, I feel like we're the first ones really living and walking.
Exactly. Trying to do it.
Yeah, trying to do it on a daily basis. And I'm grateful for it. But it's like, hey,
but could you take it back just a little?
Just a little.
Okay, I tell Judah, I used to have a fantasy of me just being a stay-at-home mom. Not just
I'm with you.
But I mean like simply.
Yeah.
By the way, I went to work so I could take a break when the kids were little. Yeah. Being a full-time mom is the hardest job.
Is.
Yes. Like, I'm going to go to work so I can take a break. But now that the kids are old, I tell my fantasy with Judah, it's like, do you think maybe I could be a trophy wife these days? Should I just give myself to that? And that's how
You are. You are a trophy wife.
She is a trophy wife.
Not, but
this is such a good conversation though, because women are expected to be I feel like probably universally, but we feel it a lot in the church and in ministry. You're supposed to be a superwoman.
Yes.
Like you have to do it all and it's absolutely impossible. So I love what you're saying. There's going to be seasons where you need to focus on certain things and that's okay. And I think there's probably people, I needed to hear that, Charles. So thank you. It's like there are seasons, it's going to be okay to really focus on being a mom. And then there's going to be other seasons. Like you really need to hone in on your marriage. And then there will be seasons and God has not forgotten you. I think women, and by the way, we're all women in ministry and we're here to tell you, there will always be opportunities for ministry. So don't worry. Like maybe just focus on what God has for you in that season. That's so freeing.
And can I say the other thing that is so freeing to me? Having a nanny, having a housekeeper.
Do the things you need to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh no, I did it all by myself.
Yeah. I think Aunt Jenny, actually, Judah's mom, I think she would always tell me that, Rachelle, especially when we first started our church, she said, wait, do you have a house cleaner? Do you have some stuff that can alleviate some of the pressure? And I think us as moms, we, like you said, we have to always do everything. But when she told me that, I just felt so free. Mark, why don't we need a house cleaner.
Hey, Mark.
And put that in the budget.
Yeah, we need that in the budget. But anyway,
I would feel so guilty about how much I spend on Uber Eats. Like legitimately, I don't want to end it up at the end of the year. And my mom, who's the best mom, full-time mom, but also really ran my parents' business. She did a lot with my dad, but was home and made the most beautiful meals. And she said something to me once when I was feeling guilty about getting takeout all the time. She's like, baby, you work. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, for me to hear that from
your mom
was just so, also I can't cook even if I wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
Well, none of us really can.
I was like, wait, I came over to your house just recently and you were cooking up some little
Whenever
thing.
Kenzie comes to town. I don't know what it is. Even Garrison's always surprised. He kind of looks at me and is like, she doesn't do this all the time. I made a breakfast.
Garrison starts inviting Kenzie to come over all the time.
Because he's like,
you'll cook.
She'll finally cook. Christmas morning, I went over the top, guys. I don't know what came over me. I love Christmas.
She whipped up what was it?
Oh, just a bunch of stuff. And Garrison goes, she makes one quiche and she thinks she's like the top chef or something.
Hey, but that quiche, congratulations.
It was I was actually shocked. I thought you bought it. Are you sure you didn't buy it?
Pinterest, man, found a recipe.
Throw it in the
I did not, you guys. I really made it.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, okay, none of us can cook. Well, it's okay. We got other giftings, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Chelsea, about your new book.
Yes.
I do today.
Mm-hmm.
That has impacted so many people. And did it just recently come out?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Came out this past holiday season.
I'd love to hear more about it and what your heart was in writing the book and all
what
of that.
inspired you to write it.
I I've realized that in my life, and I feel like we've been able to do some amazing things raising kids, but when I really sit back and look at it, I'm like, my marriage is the most fulfilling thing that I've done in my life. It's also the hardest thing that I've done.
Mm.
And I know so many times people would love to say, oh, this job is hard or that thing is difficult or whatever. For me, marriage and mom, like those are the hard things that really get your gut and have your heart. And I realized in marriage that Judah and I had the most amazing gift, and that is both of our parents were married until the time that Judah's dad passed away. And my parents, I think, just celebrated like 56 years of marriage. And here's the thing about my parents, they still like each other. They still love each other. They still have a date night every Friday night.
They've always done that.
They have always
when
done
we'd go
that.
on vacation, they would go on a date night.
Yep, always prioritized it, always a date
That is
night.
amazing.
And I realized that Judah and I learned so much just by watching our parents be married. And not that our families were perfect, not that our parents' marriages were perfect, but I think that's actually where a lot of the freedom came from, is saying, oh, my parents still love each other, but they disagree, and this happened, and oh, my dad wasn't great. But it just gave such a perspective of marriage. And I've realized for so many people these days, if the divorce rates are accurate at 50%, that it's so rare for a marriage to have two couples who've got the gift that Judah and I got. And Judah and I could sit here all day long and pat ourselves in the back and think, wow, aren't we so great for staying married for 26 years? But the reality is we were given a giant head start that we can't take any credit for. And I realized what that head start isn't like the big things of how to manage your finances or love and respect or the 5 love languages, which are all such incredible relationship tools that I highly recommend. It was the everyday little things in life and marriage that can make a marriage work or not work. And so with this book, it's 52 weeks. So it's a journey for a couple to take together, and it's slow on purpose so that it can really get into habits and conversations. And so every week it provides couples with an opportunity to read a little devotional together. And then there's journaling questions, and then discussion questions, and then an activity for couples to do together. And I really believe that one of the most powerful things that we can do for our marriages is to have conversations about emotionally charged topics when they're not emotionally charged.
Oh, that's good.
Have you guys found sometimes that the only time you talk about finances is when there's an issue with finances, or the only time you talk about in-laws, or the only time you talk about, fill in the blank. And what I love about this book is it gives an opportunity for couples to have conversations when they're not emotionally charged. And so you really can talk through, what is our philosophy about our in-laws or our money or our whatever, when it's just from a place of unity instead of we're already mad at each other about this. So I really do believe, I'm rambling now, but after a year, I really do have faith for marriages to be completely transformed in a year. And maybe they're just feeling kind of blah, that there's going to be life and connection and intimacy. Because what I love about marriage, and sorry, now I'm really rambling, is that I have this relationship with this person who knows me, my good, bad, and ugly, and he still loves me. And that's mind-blowing that actually exists on this planet. And there's just such a beauty to that. And so I think a lot of these questions and conversations help couples to really see each other and understand each other, know each other better, be more known, and just to develop a deeper connection.
So good.
I love that
oh my gosh.
much.
So needed.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Chelsea, what does it mean to you choosing I Do daily? What does that practically actually look like in real life for you?
And this is
Should we ask Judah this question?
Yeah,
too?
actually.
Yes, please ask him when he comes on. To me, it's really about, I wish I felt just mad feelings of love and passion for my husband every day. I really don't. Sometimes on a Tuesday.
Come on, someone needs to say this.
Yes.
A wife just needs to say it.
Like sometimes on a
Doesn't mean you don't love him. Yes.
love him
Yes.
fiercely. But sometimes on a Tuesday morning, I wake up and there's dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
It's the dishes.
It's the dishes. And and just life can be like that, and a kid can be, and I just don't feel these incredible amorous feelings of love and passion and desire for my husband. And I do think we live in a world that can try to tell us, well, if you don't feel those, then maybe something is wrong with your relationship, or maybe
Wow.
something is wrong with your spouse,
Yeah.
or maybe it would just be easier to pick up and start over and just choose somebody new. And so for me, the thought of I do today of choosing your spouse every day
So
is
good.
it's like goes back to our vows, which we did the traditional vows, which is, do you, Chelsea, take this man to be your husband? And I stood there knowing his strengths and weaknesses, and I chose him, and he chose me. And to make it, sometimes just to make a choice, I know it doesn't sound very sexy, but really to make a choice to choose them over and over again. And then
So good.
that passion comes, that joy
Yeah.
comes, that intimacy comes, and each season really does get better, but it is different.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. I love that, Chelsea. So, what is one marriage myth you wish that people would stop believing?
Oh,
Mhm.
marriage myth. Oh, the first one that comes to mind is that once we get really connected, once we know each other really well, he's going to be able to read my mind. He's going to know what I'm.
That is good.
Right.
So good.
Like,
And
he's
so
going to know what I want
true.
for my birthday.
Yep. Nope.
He's
He's gonna
going to
know it all.
know.
You're
that-
26 years in, he doesn't know.
Gosh, I just.
Okay, that gives me hope because we're
Yeah.
6 and
and
he still doesn't
He
know.
doesn't still. He just still doesn't read your mind. Okay, but do you ever feel like, wait, I'm better at reading his mind?
Yes.
than he is at
Why? I
reading
feel
my
like
mind.
Why?
women in general.
I think it's-
Are
I
we
don't know.
mind readers?
I
Like,
think it's humans in general who
Okay.
just give ourselves a lot more credit than we tend to.
Yeah,
give other
true,
people.
true.
But
That's true.
maybe it's women too. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
You'll have to
okay.
ask Judah how he
Yeah.
thinks he is at reading my mind. But yeah, I would love to just bust that myth.
that is so
Just-
good. Yeah.
so
Just
good.
know what you want and have a conversation about it instead of making them guess and feeling like they did it wrong or right.
Yeah.
Because we almost weaponize it. Do you
Yeah.
feel like? I mean, I
Yes.
do. I should speak for myself. I feel like I kind of weaponize that. Like you should know, and then I build a case of frustration
yeah.
because I expect him to know,
Yes.
and he's like, huh, "We're different." Marriage is a mystery.
Yeah.
Two totally different people from
Yeah.
different worlds, different love languages. Why do we never have the same love languages coming
gosh.
together, and then we expect them to read our minds?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're so right about weaponizing
Yeah.
and building a case in our
Yeah.
mind. And once we start on that case and
Yeah.
down that
Yeah.
that mind game,
Because then you pick it up
Yep.
again.
Yep.
Like the next time they didn't do the dishes, you know?
it's like he didn't know what I wanted for my birthday last year. He doesn't know. He didn't learn last year. It's like, no, Chelsea, you didn't learn to
Yeah.
just say this is
I
what I
know.
want to do. and this is what I
So
want."
good.
Finally, this year, I said, because we were out in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
for my birthday. And last year, Judah gave me the most random like t-shirt and pair of like biker shorts that were like on sale at the little boutique. Like
Was this for your birthday?
this is for my birthday
oh
last
my
year.
gosh.
Like a Willie Nelson t-shirt. When have I ever worn a Willie Nelson t-shirt? So I learned this year,
Oh.
and like 4 days before my birthday, I was like, hey, just so you know, my birthday's coming up. If
Yeah.
you want to get something here, you
Yeah.
should probably order it like by today or tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. So
And-
just,
yeah.
and in his mind, he was
Yes.
probably like, oh, I want to give her something.
Yes.
And we're in this remote place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the best thing I could find.
And it was.
Yes.
And this is cool. Yeah.
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 That's so funny. Do you think a lot of communication too? I feel like sometimes we, with me and Mark, I will assume that he knows what I'm thinking, but
Yeah.
then a lot of times I just don't communicate.
Yeah.
And so I think communication is such a huge key
Yes.
in, and there's stuff that he's given me. Like, in fact,
Why
yeah,
is it the
talking about
gifts?
gifts, I don't know, because this last Christmas, Kenzie and myself were like, Mark, he tries to surprise us. We're like, bless your heart. We don't want
Your heart.
surprises.
Yeah.
We do not want surprises.
We
It
made a
can't- Yeah,
list.
we made a list and we sent them to you. Like, we sent them to you more
In
than
links.
once.
We now send links
We-
even.
and I think Kenzie, this generation or Gen Z, they like do a whole slideshow.
Oh.
Kenzie does a
wow.
whole slideshow and sends all of her Christmas gifts and stuff. But anyway, I tell Mark, hey, I don't want surprises anymore. And so I have to communicate that with him. So I think communication is so key.
Yes.
What would you say to that,
Oh,
Chelsea?
yes. And I think communication, not just on the level of expectations, but when we're agitated, going and say, what am I really disappointed at right here? And we want to blame him like, you didn't. But so
Yeah.
often it's, I feel overlooked, or I feel like I'm not valuable, or whatever those. And I think anytime we can take communication even just one layer deeper to that vulnerable part on the
Yeah.
inside of us, that whatever is making us feel that way, and it's normally not about the gift. It's not about, at least for me,
Yes.
but intentionally thinking through and getting communication deep. Because when your husband opens up to you and he shares those vulnerabilities
Yeah.
and like you love him, you're on
Yeah.
the same team. You want to
Yeah.
be there with him and protect him and make sure he knows that he is seen. And they want to do the same for us.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good. I
This
love
isn't
that.
one of our questions, but I was just thinking about this. What would you say? Because you talked about the emotionally charged. I love that. Like not having those conversations when you're already like at a 10,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So let's say all of our scenarios, maybe I'm just asking for myself.
Asking for a friend.
But no, just all of us, any woman who's listening to this, and she would say, yeah, he doesn't read my mind, or they're trying to figure out the communication or something, but I'm at a 10, or maybe I'm at an 8. When, we kind of grew up hearing, remember, like, don't let the sun go down on your wrath, things like that. What would you say to something like that? Like, because I would think there's a good time and a bad time to have these conversations and to share the I feel, because I agree with you. It's like sharing, not projecting, not accusing, but, having a conversation like this is how it makes me feel. What would you say to that? Like, when's a
First
good
of all,
time?
You're so right. Don't let the sun go down on you. I think that scripture in general can be so misused and misappropriated. And can we just use that as an example of like something that's like this poetic language that we like turned into a principle?
Yes.
It's like,
And we
no.
heard it our whole lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like we turned it as like, you can't go to bed.
I know.
And
I've been scared.
yeah, sometimes, thank God Jude and I have learned, we're like, you know what? We can have permission to walk away. And again, I think having conversations at non-emotionally charged times, I think a great conversation is, what are our ground rules for how we fight?
Oh, that's good.
What is fighting fair look like for us? Because I think sometimes we're so afraid to fight because it's going to get nasty and ugly, and you start saying hurtful things, and you feel hurt, so then you hurt back, and then they feel, and it can just so easily disintegrate. And if we're afraid of fighting, then we're not going to have difficult conversations that we need to have. So I think having a conversation is when you're happy and you're sitting in a park looking at a lake and saying, what are our rules for how we fight? What do we do when we get mad and we feel like we're at an 8 and we know nothing productive is going to happen anymore? Do we have permission to walk away and drive away? And how do we communicate that in a way that is, hey, this is me cooling down, not me punishing you?
Or someone like abandoning you. It's like we would think like if you walk away, you don't care. But
and for somebody who has been abandoned, that may be something that does not work in their relationship. And so maybe it needs to be, hey, we're going to be quiet, and we're just going to set an hour of not talking, but be in the same room. And that's where I think
so good.
We're all uniquely made in the image of God, but we're all unique and we all have different experiences. And there's no set of rules that is like, this is the same set of rules for everybody. But I think it's understanding yourself and understanding each other so that you can learn. We're for each other.
Yes.
Don't you think?
I love that.
That's so good. Make rules. Wait, how did you say it?
Rules of engagement for how to fight fair.
Yeah, how to fight fair. I love that.
I love that.
So good.
Write that down if you're watching or listening. That is so good.
Please tell me you guys fight with your spouse.
Yeah.
Please tell me it's not just Judah and I who fight.
You know us. What do you think?
Oh no, Chels, we're perfect.
Yeah, never. Gary and I never had a fight.
Never.
I love this conversation. Well, what is something, Chelsea, that about marriage that you learned the hard way? Would you say to that?
What did I learn the hard way? How quickly my thoughts can unravel a day, can unravel what could have been a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And poor Judah, I pick on him and his like work around the house. But one Friday, when the kids were littler, I worked part-time, Judah worked full-time. So Friday was my day to do stuff around the house. And so here's a Friday, Judah's out working, I have the kids, and I'm trying to clean up the house. And I'm not only am I picking up after 3 kids, but picking up after Judah. And like the hamper is here and his underwear is here. And I'm like, he played basketball in high school. You're telling me he couldn't get his underwear in the hamper? It's right there.
He was good too.
He was good. Yes, Judah, you were very athletic and you're listening to this. His dishes, I'm like, I have to pick up these kids' dishes. You're telling me I have to, and then it went into, doesn't he care about me? Does he know how much I do? And my mind just spiraled on this Friday. So by the time Judah comes home after not only a day, but a full week of work, I am not happy, worked up. Like, and he just walks in the door to nagging, unhappy, annoyed at him wife. He did nothing. It was all
Yeah.
in my thoughts and my
Yeah.
mind. So we get into a huge fight. Totally ruined our Friday night. Probably ruined our Saturday. And then
Yeah.
what's that scripture in Proverbs where it says a woman tears down her house with her own
Yes.
hands and words? Like, okay, yeah, I definitely did that. And the worst part about it is it did no good.
Yeah.
I get to the next Friday, the underwear is still by the hamper, the dishes are still
Yeah.
not put away. But I realized it's like, I don't want to ruin this. I don't want to ruin this night again. So I'm gonna. What can I change in my thoughts towards Judah? So I literally just started. You know what? He's a good man. Wow, it was really cool when we prayed together this morning. That was
So
really special.
good.
Man,
Yeah.
he loves our kids. And when every time I wanted to be annoyed at him in my thoughts, instead, like made a choice.
Yeah.
It was wild. Nothing changed except for he came home that Friday to a happy, loving
Wow.
wife, and literally the only thing that changed was my thoughts. And
love
So
I wish I could
good.
say that was a one and done lesson, but
Yeah.
how many other things have I ruined
Yeah.
with my own thoughts that I'm choosing to think?
I think that's so profound. I honestly, that's so profound. Like choosing your thoughts. I think that is
Yeah.
something that
It's like rewiring your
Yeah.
brain, right? We can make new
neuroplasticity.
pathways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we can do it. But yeah, I think
Yep.
we all have that propensity. So that's so encouraging,
I
Chels.
love
Like
that. I love
I think we
that.
all needed to hear that.
Yes.
We all. And my friend.
Yeah.
My friend is
My friend.
loving the podcast today.
I love
This
that.
is so fun.
This is so fun. Now, Charles, how do you and Judah reconnect in your marriage when life is like crazy busy? And I know you guys are doing so much, in life and ministry. How do you guys reconnect?
Oh, you know what is a horrible confession? As we mentioned earlier, my parents were so good at having a date night every week. And when the kids were little, Judah and I were really good at that. I mean, we just needed it. We're like, oh my God, babysitter is
Yeah.
coming. I get a meal where I can sit down and eat it.
Yeah.
But as they got older in school and sports and activities in life came up for a season, maybe about a year or two, we weren't as good with our date night. And then about 6 months ago, she's like, what? There's just not this connection. What's going on? And so we restarted our date night, Thursday night's date night. And it is, I actually am almost grateful for the experience so I can truly be passionate about the difference between life with date night and life without a date night. It's the simplest thing. And we're not always in the mood for a date night when it comes up, but man, it's just knowing that we're going to have that
Yes.
connection
Yeah.
every week, knowing that we're most likely going to have sex
Yes.
every time after the date night.
Yeah.
And it
Yes.
just does wonders.
Yeah.
That's so
It
good.
does. Mark and I try to do that every week too, and I am telling you, it does. It makes a massive difference in your marriage, and I feel like that you get reconnected, and then I love it too because we just like we talk about just vision for our future, and it's just so fun just to be together and to have that time to reconnect.
That's so good.
What advice, Chelsea, would you give to women who are maybe watching or listening to this podcast that feel unseen or unheard in their marriage? What would you say?
That's really good.
Thank you for asking that question because I think that is such a reality. Is marriage can be in seasons, and your husband can go through seasons, and I would say that is a time for, even as we talked about letting go of control in parenting, I think that is a season in your marriage to really let go of control and those things that you want to fix, actually let it go and
Good,
stop
yeah.
fixing it. I think sometimes the harder we try to grab hold of and fix, the more anxious we get. And if you can let that be a season where you say, hey, God, can you see me? Can you know me? Will you take a little bit extra care of me right now? And God, I'm praying for my husband. Can you help him see me? And can you help me see him? And
so
can you help me
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
give even what I feel like I'm not getting? And I feel like this is such a myth of our culture and in marriage right now. And that is, I'll get it. I'll give it
when I
once
get
I get
it.
it.
Yeah.
And that's not the way of God. The way of
So
God is
true.
give
Yep.
So
and it will be
good.
given unto you. In marriage, it's, hey,
Yeah.
your spouse, love them, respect them, whether
Yeah.
you earned it, whether they deserved it, whether you feel like you're getting or not. And it is, I think, one of the mysteries of the ways of God. And that is give even before you get. And not that we give to get, but so often that does happen.
Yeah.
It can be reciprocated that if you start seeing your husband and appreciating him, and maybe he really is providing for you financially, even if you're not emotionally connected, thinking about that, thanking him for that, encouraging him for
So
that.
good.
I think you could be really surprised in what's going to happen, and maybe it won't. But in the meantime, you have let go and you've reconnected with God and given your heart an ability and a place to really be okay, even if
Yeah.
you feel like your husband never sees you, because it's not tied to an outcome, because you
That's really
have
good.
really let go
Yeah.
of that
And it's honoring
control.
God in your marriage and the vows that you made,
Yeah.
even if you don't feel like you're getting that. That's so good,
So
Charles. So
good.
profound.
Yes, it's so
This isn't
beautiful.
really good.
I know.
Well, you live that and walk that. Like,
I'm just new. I'm newer. I'm only 6 years in. You guys are like deep into it. So I'm over here taking notes. Gare's going to love.
no, but can
Oh,
I say,
yeah.
I think that people who've been married for 25 years have things to learn from newlyweds.
Yes,
And like,
I
I think
agree.
there's different strengths in each
Yeah.
seasons
Yes.
that are so important and valuable. Like, there's something exciting about getting around newlyweds and seeing
Yes.
like, it's like, oh,
Their
yeah,
passion.
I want to
Yeah.
hold you as hand. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's just,
Well,
yeah.
I just feel because I got married late, we know. But I just, in both of your guys' marriages always really inspired me. So I also think getting married older. So anyone who's not yet married, just be encouraged. I was 39 when I was married and I had my first baby at 40. So to God be the glory. But I feel like watching you guys for years and seeing what I loved about and just really respected about both of your guys' marriage helped me when I got into marriage, because I thought I had years to review, and
Yeah.
to see. And I think that's also so. Even to encourage anyone, it's like get around people with good marriages, and they're not perfect. No marriage is perfect, but just start to notice the things that they do that you go, okay, when I get into that space, I can carry these kind of tools. And I feel like no matter what season, God uses it in that way.
I think for that too, the community of church is such a beautiful thing. I think of Jude and I entering into an empty nest season, and how much we would love if a young couple came up to us and said,
So good.
"Hey, you guys,
Oh, yeah.
could we take you out to lunch or coffee and just ask you guys about marriage?" Like, I just think that
Yes.
in the community of church is such
So
an incredible
good.
opportunity, and I think it's almost better than marriage counseling, but it's
Yeah.
probably freer or cheaper
Yeah,
for a lunch.
definitely
And
freer.
So
Definitely
freer.
freer.
Or cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah. The lunch may
Yeah.
cost you, but
That's so
Well,
good.
I wanted to ask you one of the last questions, Chelsea, as we end the show today. But what do you hope every person they feel after reading your book, I Do Today? What do you hope that when people read that, what do you want them to feel?
Oh, I love this question. I hope that they feel hope.
Mm.
And I hope that people feel like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because I can do this today, and I can do this week, and I can do this next week, and then okay, this week was hard. I'm not doing this. I skipped a week. Okay, but
Yeah.
that it's not difficult and complicated, and a fulfilling marriage is not something for exclusively holy religious people. That it really is something that God wants to give to all of us,
Right.
and I hope that people feel hope, and even if they feel far away from it, that it is something that
That's so
every person can have.
That is so good.
And lastly, what is one truth you'd like to leave with the listeners today?
I think the truth is, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would just like to say, if you feel like you're lacking love in your marriage, either from your spouse or for your spouse, the greatest place that you can go to get that love is just focusing on how much Jesus loves you. And I know it's cheesy. Maybe you need to sing to yourself that old Sunday school song, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells you so. But that constant recognition and remembrance that God loves you. He loves you unconditionally. He loves you exactly the way that you are. All your mistakes, He has forgiven. All of your weaknesses, He covers. And that is the kind of love that God has for you. When you sit and soak in that and can really just rest in that, I really believe for you, that is the fuel that is going to enable you to have this marriage that you've always dreamed of, because I know it is possible and available for you, because I know that love of Jesus is available for all of us.
So
powerful.
beautiful.
I love that,
Yes.
Chelsea. Well, I love having you on the show.
This is
It
so
was
awesome.
Such a blessing. I'd love to leave the show and all of our guests pray for those listening.
I would love
you
to.
mind praying maybe for those listening today, if you feel discouraged or in your marriage or your faith?
Yeah.
I'd love for Chelsea, if you could pray for them.
Yes,
today.
I would love to. Jesus, we thank you that we are here, and thank you for letting us talk about marriage, and that you actually, as a single man, oddly enough, gave us the best example of marriage because you laid down your life for us. And Jesus, I pray right now that every person listening or watching would feel that supernatural love that comes from you right now, where every listener is at. Jesus, right now, fill them with your love, fill them with your peace, fill them with your hope. And God, I pray for those specifically who feel hopeless in their marriage. God, I pray right now, miraculous, supernatural hope would come and fill their heart, would give them energy to keep going, to keep taking a step forward, to maybe reach out and try to do something that they haven't done and investing in their marriage. I thank you for each and every one of these amazing humans who are your sons and your daughters. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
What a beautiful
Oh.
prayer. Well, this was so much fun.
So much fun.
You're gonna have to come on again, and we're gonna have to like have some more fun.
Oh my gosh, yes. We could do this like monthly, you guys.
Monthly,
This was
yes.
really
I'm so down.
entertaining.
Thanks for liking me and giving Judah my stamp of approval
my
so that I
gosh.
can marry him.
Oh my gosh,
Way
that
back in
thank-
1998.
Oh,
We've always loved you.
I know.
Oh.
We've admired you and always. I mean, I've just always admired you, Chelsea. So I love you so much. So thank you for coming on the show.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Collective Talk Season 5. Stay tuned for future episodes as we dive into the topics of prayer, family, and ministry.